So when you're form pruning, you're being really mindful of what makes a tree grow. So the more canopy we have on a tree, the faster it can grow. It equates to a bigger engine. So if you take too much off that engine, you might turn a V8 engine into a 4-cylinder buzz box potentially, and then it grows more slowly. There's two things that help us not take off too much. First of all, with form pruning, we try to take off 30% or less of the foliage. So no more than 30%. So if we take off too much, we're reducing growth and potentially health, creating opportunity for epicormics to grow on the tree as well. So we don't want that. The other thing to be mindful of, given that this is a process that should be done for less than X dollars, 2 to 3 cuts is all you should need. Now there is some exceptions to that, but that's the simple rule. Less than 30% of the foliage taken off, and no more than 3 cuts per tree you form prune. So here we have another tree that speaks to the 30% rule. That is not taking any more than 30% off the foliage off the tree during the form pruning operation. So the first thing to do when you're looking at form pruning and you've actually gone through the selection is to take off the most significant branch. So we're looking at form pruning's all about promoting that central leader for as long as possible, because that's what is the basis of your 6-metre saw log. So in this instance, you can see here we have a double leader that is potentially going to compete with the main leader. So we want to take that off first. So if we take that off, we're probably taking off 10-15% of the foliage off this tree. But you can see here we've got another reasonable size branch that is curling upwards and has got a chance of competing with that leader at this point. So that's the second branch we want to take off. But if we take that whole off, we're getting pretty close to that 30%, and we want to maximize the amount of crown that's left on this tree so that we can promote its growth as fast as possible and as healthy as possible. So in this instance, we'll take this off. There we go. We've created that central axis, and now we do a process that is called tipping. So we're minimizing the amount of foliage we take off, but we're still protecting this main leader. So in this instance, instead of taking this all the way back here and taking off more foliage than we need to and reducing the growth of the tree, we're actually going to tip this about here. And that's your final product. And we'll revisit this tree in 6 months' time. Where trees have branching below 1.3 metres, which is otherwise called diameter at breast height, you need to take out one of those trees. And when you do that, almost invariably you're going to take off more than 30% of the canopy or foliage area. But that's necessary because if you don't, you are going to compromise the form with a stronger, better stem. So in this case, the 30% rule doesn't apply.